All right, well, we start with a late twist at the Stadium of Light, where Arsenal's 10-game winning run came to an end because Sunderland scored 4 minutes into time added on to force a 2-2 draw against the Premier League.
Arsenal's winning run, 10 on the bounce. All competitions has come to an end at the Stadium of Light thanks to Brian Brobby's late equaliser. 90 plus 4 minutes on the clock. 3 goals conceded all season and 2 in one evening at the Stadium of Light. Granit Xhaka, the former Arsenal man, delighted to help steer his side to a point that takes them up to third in the table. This is the Sunderland equaliser, Gary. Is it inevitable almost that Dan Ballard's in the mix again?
Yeah, interesting how he's up there again, isn't it? You know, we spoke about having to find a way to create chances against Arsenal because they are a unique test. And to be fair to Sunderland, you know, they've found a way. You know, they've gone to Ballard twice with balls into the box, and Arsenal have struggled to deal with the second phase.
Bit of Darren Bent about that finish, I think, as well, from Brian Brobby. His first shot in the Premier League. And his first goal.
You know, it's almost one of those where, to be fair, the goalkeeper's made a decision for him, and it's a really, really nice finish.
What about this? Dan Ballard again, Darren, in the right place.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Calafiori probably should score himself. I mean, I think he gets too much on the header rather than really trying to go back across goalkeeper and low. But Dan Ballard there, as you said, they're putting his body on the line. I mean, he throws himself at it. I mean, it's close to giving away a penalty there, but it's a really, really good block. And the reaction, to be fair, from blocking...
That anything is possible. They could have gone second if they'd won this game. They're unbeaten at home. What was so impressive about this performance against Arsenal, Alan?
Well, particularly Dan Ballard, I think he epitomised everything that Sunderland have done so well, particularly at home this season, with his aggression, with him and his teammates stopping Arsenal playing, particularly in that first half. And they are really, really tough to play against, and there were so many examples of that today, with him and other players putting their body on the line, you know, for their team and for the atmosphere. And I said he sort of summed everything up. We're going to talk about this after, but look how difficult it is to get through, how many players they've got behind the ball, and then I think that's really good defending. As I said, we'll talk more in a minute about that, but that is really, really tough, aggressive defending. Then he more than plays his part with this. I mean, he makes it difficult to clear, but have a look at the touch and the finish. Goodness me, any forward would be proud of that finish. Then when they're piling the pressure on, he makes it really difficult there. The flick on in for Brian Brobby, who then finishes off with a great finish. But it starts with him being aggressive in the box and not letting the Arsenal players defend the way they want to, and then they get the reward. And then Arsenal come back at them and they straight down the other end. And I said, putting your body on the line for your team, that's exactly what I mean, and that's why it means so much to him as the defender, to stopping that. And you can see the reaction from all the fans from behind the goal. And Arsenal will not have many tougher games than that this season, I promise you. And you can see, I mean, he started his career at the Arsenal Academy, and what a performance him and Sunderland put in today. I thought they thoroughly deserved the point.
Yeah, Dan Ballard, player of the match. But you mentioned that challenge on Marino. They looked at it, VAR looked at it and decided there was nothing to see there. What was your view on it, Theo?
Well, my view, I look at it a little bit differently, to be honest, and it's not clear and obvious. However, it's early in the game, it's 7 minutes in the game, and Don Ballard, of course, wants to put his mark on the game, should we just call it. And Mikel Arteta spoke about being disruptive, and he's definitely, from my opinion, right, he's disruptive, and there's a slight movement from the elbow to Marino's cheekbone. Me and Al definitely probably don't agree on it. However, I do feel like his elbow's in quite a high condition, should we just call it, and it was very disruptive, and it did.
I think, as a defender, if he allows that forward to get across him, Marino, his manager goes absolutely berserk at him. That's his space, and he cannot allow any forward to get across him. So he then settles himself, and then he goes for the header. He can't jump without doing that for a header, and I don't think there's anything deliberate there at all. I think it's more brilliant defending than anything else.
And you would have done that if you were challenging for the ball as a striker?
Well, I wouldn't allow anyone to sort of get in me, or in and around me, or in front of me, and that's his job as a defender. He cannot allow the forward to get in front of him, and he didn't.
Theo, as Alan was saying earlier, Sunderland's game plan worked perfectly, particularly in the first half. But what changed for Arsenal in the second half?
What changed? Mikel Arteta got into the dressing room first before the players, and the intensity was the biggest challenge that they had to face, because they were up against a very tough Sunderland team who haven't been beaten at home this year, and the numbers they committed forward as well. At times, Bukayo Saka was finding it hard in the first half to get involved in the game. But this is what I'm talking about, the bravery with committing bodies forward. Declan Rice always starts the press. And if you give Arsenal an opportunity, they're going to punish you. Simple as that. And you can't afford to do that because Sunderland worked tremendously hard. Al spoke, a couple of weeks ago about the fullbacks committing forward and putting in positions where you don't really expect. But this is what we're talking about, the difference, the bravery, the committing the bodies forward, like I said before. And this is where I felt at times Arsenal were always going to cause problems and make chances out of nothing. There's a little bit of a snapshot here, but this was the danger. This is the warning signs that Sunderland had to be aware of. Zubimendi, I thought, was absolutely brilliant in the second half. Just a bit unlucky here, of course. But this is the luck that Arsenal probably get in this season because of they don't give up. They don't give you many opportunities. And Leandro Trossard, for me, is a player that is probably at times, there's been questions, but you can just see here, Sadiki points to Hume to say, look, you take him. But I don't understand why you would then step and give that opportunity, that space to Trossard, particularly coming the inside. And you can see how disappointed he is. It's a fantastic finish, not taking a finish away, but look, Leandro Trossard's come up with some very, very important goals right now for Arsenal Football Club. And I think it's a really good point in the end, to be honest with you. And when I look at it, it's a balanced game. I think Sunderland probably deserves something out of the game, but Arsenal as well.
Alan, they'll be looking at Manchester City-Liverpool tomorrow on Match of the Day.
Yeah.
What difference does that Arsenal result make to that game?
No, I agree with Theo. I think in the grand scheme of things, the way it was today and how...
Ouch. Arsenal's streak, the one that had fans dreaming of a serious title push, hit a speed bump. The Gunners drew 2-2 with Sunderland AFC, conceding a late goal which ended their run of wins. That result might seem like just another drop of points in a long season, but with the title race heating up, its timing couldn't be worse. Here's the deal, the title chase in the Premier League is as tight as we've seen in a while. According to analysts, Arsenal were early front-runners and had built up momentum. But when you stop winning, especially in matches you should be closing out, you give the challengers a sense of hope. That draw at Sunderland is more than a single result, it's a crack in the armour when Arsenal needed to assert dominance. Dropping points like this creates two big issues, confidence and momentum. When a team has been on a roll, every match feels like you're pushing forward. Halt that, and suddenly you're defending your ground instead of attacking it. Arsenal's manager Mikel Arteta knows what's at stake, failure to get the simple things right, possession, chance creation, game management, shows up when the pressure mounts. The title race is unforgiving, those minor slips stack up. So what must Arsenal do now? First, stop treating games as okay if we draw and recommit to winning every match. Arteta's message before was loud and clear, they'll keep fighting. Second, handle the quirky games, those against teams defending deep or playing with nothing to lose. These are the matches where champions signal their intent. Analysts flagged that Arsenal's upcoming fixture list looked easier, but only if they capitalise. Miss out now, and suddenly the easier games become pressure-laced. Let's be real, Arsenal's season isn't doomed. But the margin for error has just shrunk. They've shown they can score big, defend well, and play top level. However, slipping up into must-win matches could cost them in a way that draws or late goals do not. This draw doesn't kill their title shot yet, but it's a warning blare. If rivals sense hesitation or inconsistency, they'll pounce. For Arsenal, the message is clear, turn this stumble into fuel, or risk giving the trophy race a chance to slip away.